Hi, I'm Mitch Shoemaker, and this is day 47 of my making 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on gratitude. So, yay, I made it to day 47, and today is a complaining day, a griping day, a I don't want to do anything day. Not a gratitude day. It needs to be a gratitude day. I need to be grateful for things. That's why I'm making these gratitude videos and focusing on gratitude. But right now I am being, I don't know, a teenager, being a toddler, throwing a tantrum, not wanting to do what I'm supposed to be doing. No, I don't know that there's anything that I'm supposed to, should, would, could, are all things that I think should be vocabulary words that should be thrown away because they're all words to make me feel ashamed and to make me feel like I'm not good enough because I'm not doing what I could have done. I'm not doing what I should have done. I should have done this. I should have done that. I'm like, well, yeah, but I didn't. And I can't change it. And I can't fix it. And so, yeah. That's from 12 step. There's the 3 C's. I didn't cause it, I can't control it, and I can't cure it. So like I can't, but I'm like, I can't go back. I can't fix it. I can't change it. I couldn't control it. I can't cure it. It can't be fixed. Whatever. I can't do it. So focusing on the past is not something, I cannot change the past no matter how much I focus on it. What I can change is how I perceive my past and how I feel about my past. And right now I am writing a very personal book that I don't want to write, which is why I'm having a tantrum because I don't want to write it. But I literally sat down. I'm like, I've avoided doing everything all day just to avoid doing this whole book thing. And I opened it up and I sat down and said, I do not want to write this book. And I literally typed up that sentence. And the next thing you know, I wrote like 5 pages. So apparently I need to write this book. And I made that my introduction so that my book starts out with, I do not want to write this book. So anybody that opens up my book to read it is going to be like, I don't want to do this. You're going to just flat out no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to share all of this. I don't want to feel all of these feelings and these emotions. I don't want to do it. But I know that it will be good for me to do. I know that it will be healing for me to do because I know that sharing hurt and pain, not complaining about and not reliving those things don't work because that's what PTSD is. You basically relive the moment and you can't get out of it and you get paralyzed and stuck there and it sucks. It really, really sucks. And then you have to, at some point, go to counseling or figure out some way to process that emotion so that when you get triggered, it doesn't take you right back to that moment. And when you have like 1,000 moments like that, they all connect to each other. And then you just literally have a panic attack. And people are like, why are you freaking out? It's like, I have no idea, but I can't even tell you until I'm done freaking out. So I've done that, been there, done that. Don't want to do it again. So that's a door I like to keep closed, shut, tight, buried. But I can't heal if I keep doing that because then I keep going back to those traumatic experiences and there has to be a way to work through those experiences, which is why I go to trauma counseling. I have a counselor that deals in trauma and helps me to process. But, you can only process so much in a session, so many trauma things, and then think, oh, I'm healed. And I was like, yeah, I was until another trauma hit me, and then it triggered a whole bunch of other traumas that I didn't realize were buried in there. Man, I buried them good. I buried them really good. No wonder I'm struggling with depression. No wonder I struggle to get out of bed every day because I have all of these horrific things that happened to me that I don't want to remember. But God is giving me a different gift today to go back to my past that I don't like to visit and to, instead of just seeing the hurt and the pain and the scary traumatic experiences, to see his hand in my life, to see how he has blessed my life, to see how he has protected me over the years, how it could have been worse than it actually was, how it was actually worse for other people than it was for me, how my life is not as horrible as I like to make it out to be. So, it's taking away a lot of that unnecessary stuff, but it's also, taking down a lot of my walls, because if I can build up all these walls and say how horrible my life was, and I'm putting up all these walls to protect myself, if God's showing me my life was not that horrible, then I don't have a reason for my walls, and I can't keep people away from me. I can't protect myself. I have to open my heart up. I have to be available to love myself, to love other people, to share with other people what I've been through, so that they can see that, as horrible as it seems, there is a God out there. He does live, he does exist, he does love us, and he can help us, and he can soften us into little potatoes instead of harden us like hard-boiled eggs. Well, I like eating hard-boiled eggs. I don't think it's good to have a hard heart. I don't think it's good to have everyone blocked out of my life. And as much as I'm hurting, I want to be comforted. I want someone to hold me. I want someone to love me. And I don't want it to be myself, but apparently it gets to be me, because God loves me and God can hold me, but I need to love myself. And until I love myself, I can't accept the love that other people have to offer me, including the love that God has to offer me. So he has given me what I guess is an opportunity for growth, a gift, the overnight healing that I have always wanted, that now I don't want. I know, my little oxymoron things there. I'm like, I always wanted this. I didn't know it was going to be this painful. I'm kidding. I changed my mind. I don't want it. Forget that I ever asked for this. I really don't want it. But God knows that I need it. And he gives me what I need. And I do want the overnight healing. I just don't necessarily want to spend all night writing a book and focusing on all of the things from my history. And I know I can take a break. I know I can go to work. I can get something to eat. I can focus on other things. But the problem is, last night I went to work and my brain just kept coming up with more things that I needed to write. And as soon as I took a break from work, just to stop and go to the bathroom and get something to eat, my headache came back, and it was like, oh crap. And then I got to log in to go back to work, or I got to come home, and I don't feel the pain in my headache. I don't feel the stress. I don't feel all of that when I'm writing, when I'm letting it out. And it's just, in order for me to heal, in order for me to move forward, I feel like I have to do this. And it's like taking precedence over everything else. But everything else in life has to be done too, including these YouTube videos. So I have the choice and patterns, and one that I'm still perpetuating. One of these days I might give it up, but it's where I play games and watch TV or movies or whatever to avoid doing the one thing that I feel like I need to be doing, like writing. And then nothing else in my life gets done, because to avoid the one thing, I avoid everything else. That includes working, paying the bills, reading, whatever it is, I avoid it all. So not healthy. So I need to find the healthy response, which is, okay, just face it and do it. And I am doing that very grudgingly, obviously, because I played my games first. I did my little avoidance tactics first, and then I started. And then I wrote this entire chapter and realized that I have to go back through some stuff that I read to see where I'm at. And I don't want to reread stuff that I wrote, because I don't want to go there again and again and again. I'm going to breathe. Because I titled this book Recognizing God's Hand in My Life. And it is a book going back through my life to see all the times that God was there to bless me, to help me, to encourage me, to pull me out of whatever funk, whether it be through friends or family or counseling, 12-step programs, or just random thoughts in my head, or, my bishop. All of those are ways and people that have helped me, that have blessed me, that have encouraged me. And they were all sent by God because he loves me. And He wants me to be happy. And He wants me to be full of gratitude. And He wants me to see the positive things in my life. And He doesn't want all the negative things and the traumatic things to overshadow everything in my life. Because really, that's what it does. When there's that traumatic experience, something happens. And even if it's a good thing, the trauma overshadows it. And I can't see it as a good thing because all I can see is the trauma. All I can feel is the trauma. And I freak out, do the whole panic attack thing, have that really high anxiety where it's like every little sound, I'm like, somebody's out to get me. They're not, but I think that they are. I know they're not, but I feel like they are. And it's very hard for me. It's been very hard for me. And it's hard and scary to share all of this with everyone too. And I think it makes me grateful that I know there's not very many people watching these videos, and that the people that are watching them are people that know me, that people that I trust or hope that I can trust. Because it's scary to put all of that out there. And then it's one thing to write it all down in a book, but it's another thing to picture this book as actually being something that's going to be published. And I would love to say that I'm just going to write it and never publish it and no one can see it until I die, because that would be fantastic. That's what's going to happen with my journals. It's not what's going to happen with this book, because I already have a book cover pictured in my head. I already know that this has to be published. It's like one of those things where you have to do it, and it's just going to eat you alive until you do it. Well, it's going to eat me alive until I do it. So apparently I'm going to write this book much faster than any other book. Not really looking forward to that either, to be perfectly honest. I'm not. I have spent 10 hours writing a book once. I didn't finish the whole book in 10 hours, obviously, but I spent 10 hours working on a book once. And then I've always thought, oh, I should do that again. That would be awesome. So I am torn between going to work and working on my book all night long. And I may end up working on my book all night long just so that I can get these thoughts and ideas out of my head. And because when I was working last night and they were running through my head, I promised myself and I promised God that I'm like, I'll write it down. And then today when I'm fighting, I'm like, I know I promised, I just don't want to do it. So then I wrote all the things I didn't want to do, and I ended up with a whole nother chapter of my book, and I still have to write the part that I promised I would write yesterday and didn't write. So that is my complaining day instead of my gratitude day. And I apologize for anyone that's watching this and was hoping for something bubbly and fun and full of gratitude, because life is not always fun. Life has setbacks and emotional things that happen. And the thing that I'm learning is that we just have a choice as to how to respond to them, to how to view them, because we can't control what happens, can't control what other people do. We don't always cause the trauma and stuff that happens in our lives. It just happens because of other people's choices. And we can't fix what happens to us in our lives, but God can. God can give us a different perspective. God can help us learn and grow from whatever happens, whether it's our mistakes, someone else's mistakes, or whether it's just a trial in life that we need to go through so that we can grow, so that we can become closer to God, so that we can become better human beings, so that we can learn to love and share with other people, so we can have empathy with other people, because sharing what we go through helps us to feel better. It gives us that sense of healing and sense of not being alone, because someone else has been through it too. So someone else is hearing what I'm saying has probably been through what I'm going through, and it may help them to know what I'm doing, to see progress that I'm making or not making. I don't know. That's my hope when I do these videos, but I don't know how much they're helping or healing other people. But I know it's healing to me to share them, to see the positive side of things, to know that God is there and blessing me even when I'm hurting, even when it's hard. And I'm grateful for that. And I am grateful that I could still make this YouTube video today, that I can still do things even when I don't want to, because I know there are things that are good for me and they will help me. But I also know I don't have to do things that are bad for me. I don't have to hurt myself because other people hurt me. And I used to think that I did, or I used to just punish myself, and sometimes I still do, for not being perfect. And I'm not supposed to be perfect in this life. I'm full of mistakes. I'm meant to be full of mistakes. I'm meant to learn from my mistakes. I'm meant to grow, to experience life, to enjoy life, to be reminded that God gave me this life, that God gave me the gift of, enjoying life, because I do. I'm easily distracted. I enjoy simple little things. I get excited about little things, and I just get over the top excited. If I bowl a strike, I'm like, woohoo! I jump up and down. I remember doing that with my aunt. So I went bowling with her one time, and I don't know how many, times I'd bowled or whatever. And then I finally got a strike, and I jumped up and down and was screaming, and some of the other people were like all making, in the other lanes were like shouting or getting upset because I was making all that noise. I was distracting them from their bowling. And my aunt was like, oh no, I love how you do that. I love that you get excited about bowling. It's like, everybody should react like that. And it made me feel good that she thought that everyone should react like that. And it's just a nice reminder that, I can have as much joy and excitement as I've had pain and sorrow. And I just need to stop letting the hurtful things, the traumatic things take precedence over the happy things. And I probably have just as many or more happy memories as I do sad memories or bad memories. But the bad ones overshadow. The negative always seems stronger than the positive. It isn't, but it always seems like it is. I think I heard once that it takes 10 positive things to overshadow or get rid of one negative thing. And I think that's just terrible that we all just focus on the one negative thing. And it's like, there's 10 positive things. We got to get 10 positive things to cancel out one negative thing. And so had a lot of negative things happen in my life. And I don't know if I've had that many positive things in my life. And maybe as I write this book and I see God's hand in my life, I will realize that I've probably had all of those positive experiences. But I just didn't see the positive ones because I was so focused on the negative ones. And so this is going to be a difficult but good experience, seeing the positive things in my life, seeing God's hand in my life, and writing about all of those times in my life. And so this is going to be, it's going to be good. It's going to require a lot of growing, a lot of self-examination, a lot of changing in my thought processes, viewing myself a lot differently, viewing my relationship with God differently, viewing my relationships with other people differently. A lot of shifting, I think, is going to happen in the process of writing this book. I think a lot of shifting is already happening as I'm writing this book, because I've done a lot of shifting with this whole gratitude thing and writing and praying to see myself the way that God sees me, and to see that I am not this horrible person that I think that I am, that I'm, I'm not really some hypocrite, because people look at me and say this wonderful person, and I think they're just crazy. They have no idea how horrible I am. And I'm really not horrible. I can't find a whole lot of horrible things about myself. I mean, there's a few things that I do that I don't like or that I've done that weren't good, but they're not horrible. I've never killed anybody. I've never caused anybody, never done terrible, horrible things. Never done anything that I can't just repent of and apologize for and move forward. Haven't done things that I can't learn from. So I'm not the horrible person, and the things that I have done, other people have done too. So I'm not the only one. I just, I'm not the only lazy person. I'm not the only person that avoids doing stuff to, I'm not the only person that beats myself up for not being perfect. I'm not the only person that doesn't like cleaning and has a messy house. I'm not the only person that, I don't know, I'm not the only person that runs yellow lights. I don't run red lights. Maybe once got a ticket for that, but most of the time it's only yellow lights. I'm not the only person that's, spaced out and accidentally run a red light or treated it like it was a stop sign either. I mean, these are simple little silly things I don't need to be ashamed or embarrassed about, but because I don't share them, because I don't tell people, because I don't know other people do them, I think I'm this horrible person, and I think if no one else knows that I did this, then, but other people do this. Other people have done this. Other people have made the same mistakes that I make. And, there's some mistakes that I don't care to share on these videos, but there are things that I've worked through that I don't have to hold on to, that I don't have to be guilty and ashamed for or about. And it's not the end of the world. I am not a horrible person because I made a mistake. And that's the things that's changing in me, is that I used to think that because I screwed up or because I didn't do things perfectly, that I'm a horrible person, that I had to beat myself up and hate myself because that's, I don't know, just for whatever reason felt like I had to do that. That every negative thing somebody said about me was true. It's not true. Every negative thing I thought about myself is true. That's not true either. It's so not true either. So all of those negative things, most of them are lies. Most of them are wrong. Most of them have distorted my perspective so that I couldn't see myself or my situation or other people clearly, because I was told that my perception was wrong and I believed them. And then I grew up thinking that my perception was wrong and that everybody else's was right. So whatever anybody else said was right and I was wrong. I grew up not trusting myself, and because I didn't trust myself, I couldn't trust other people. And that included not trusting God and not trusting people that would love me and help me or could, save me from the situation, because I didn't trust them enough to tell them that I was in a bad situation that needed saving from, because I didn't think that I could be saved from that situation. I thought that's just how it was or how it was supposed to be. And it's taken me a long time to see it's not supposed to be that way. So I hope that as I do these videos, as I write this book, as I see God's hand in my life, that I can share this with other people, that you can realize that life is meant to be happy, that we're meant to have joy, that yes, bad things happen and we can't control them, but God is still there, and that we can share what we're going through because it helps other people not feel alone. It helps us see that we're not alone, and that is the only way to get the help and the healing that we need. And holding on to it and hiding and isolating, all things I'm really good at, just make the problem worse. It makes it seem like it's way bigger than it actually is. And it keeps me paralyzed. It keeps me stuck in that place of trauma. It keeps me stuck with that feeling of anxiety and discomfort and all those things that I just want to get as far away from as possible. And I choose to run away by playing games or watching videos or laying in bed all day, because that's how I'm going to hide from all of these horrible things. They don't go away that way. They go away by facing them, by feeling them, by sharing them with someone else and realizing that they're not as big and bad and scary as I thought they were, or that there's something positive that came out of whatever that negative was. And so the negative's not as bad. It doesn't have as much power as it once did, because now something positive came from it, and something positive can continue to come from that. And I can see the positive things in my life now, and the negative things lose power. And I want the negative things to continue to lose power, and I want the positive things to have more power. That's why I'm doing these gratitude lists, because I want the gratitude to be where my brain goes. I want it to ignore the negative things and focus on the positive things. I want it to take the negative thing and say, okay, is there any truth in this? Is there something I need to do to fix or change? Or is that just somebody else's opinion that I have no control over and I can't please everybody, and so sad for them? I'm moving on with my life. I'm not going to let it ruin my entire day or my entire life because somebody doesn't agree with me. I can't change that. And it's not worth getting an argument over, and it's not worth beating myself up over, and it's not worth changing who I am to please one person, especially if that one person is not me, because then I'm miserable, and then that person doesn't even care that I did all this work so that one negative thing wouldn't be true, and they're like, so they don't even notice, they don't care. So total waste of my time to do that, and I have spent my whole life trying to do that, and so I know that doesn't work. That's how I know that doesn't work. And so this is what I am trying to see if this works. This is my experiment with gratitude. This is my experiment with seeing God's hand in my life, and it is quite the experiment. It is quite the change of perspective, and it is basically forcing me to love myself. I know that doesn't sound very nice, but it's helping me to see myself for who I really am, and to see that I am a lovable person, that I can love myself, that I can take care of myself, that I can be responsible for myself, that I can put myself first, that this is a good thing that I'm doing, that I don't have to be dependent on someone else. I don't have to wait for my knight in shining armor to come. I can just do what I need to do for me and I will be fine, and I can be happy. I don't have to wait for somebody else to be happy. I can just be happy. And I'm grateful that I can just be happy. I'm grateful that I can see these changes in my life, that I can make these changes in my life, that God is guiding me and pushing me, and He is not going to let me just sit still and be like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. And He's like, oh no, you need a lot more help than this. And I know I need more help than this. And I've asked for it, and He's like, here it is. And I was like, I don't want that. I don't want to write that book. I don't want to face all these feelings. Like, but you need to. And I'm like, I know I need to, but can we do the baby steps? And He's like, we've been doing baby steps. We've been doing baby steps for over 10 years, and baby steps are good. But baby steps aren't healing me. Baby steps haven't made it a permanent change. I mean, it has helped. It has helped a lot. And even through my divorce and everything else, I knew God was there. I just got angry because I knew the process worked. Like, I know this process worked. It worked before. I just don't want to do it again. So here I am doing it again. Only this time it's much deeper. It's much, much deeper. I think it's reaching those default settings that I didn't realize were there. So it's much harder this time round than it was before. But it's much more worth it, I think, at this point. Because I'm hoping that I know the healing process is ongoing, same as repentance, same as life. Life is ongoing. Things are still going to happen in my life. I can't control that. Even bad things are going to happen in my life. But I hope that this will help me to see and have enough background videos, books, all of those things, so that when something else tragic happens in my life, as much as I would love to say nothing else tragic or traumatic will ever happen in my life, I know that's not true, because everything we go through is preparing us for something else that we're going to go through. It's the refiner's fire. It is the process of life, because we're constantly growing, or we're constantly falling. I don't know. Climbing or falling. I don't know. We're constantly growing, or we're losing muscles. So it's, there's always something to make us better. And I want to always be improving and becoming better instead of slacking off and having to start over. Because starting over sucks. Started over a lot. And I know I will probably start over lots more. But I'm excited. I've made it 47 days of YouTube videos. And I might actually hit the halfway mark. That's amazing. And, I did have a thought in my head today where I'm like, I just won't make this video, and I'll just never make another video in my life. But if I do that, then that would be miserable. And I will go back to being miserable. I will go back to being depressed. And then all of the negative things win. And I am not going to let the negative things win, because I have seen enough to know that I deserve better, that I want better, that I can be better, that I have been better, and that God can heal me. I just have to be willing to go through the process. And the process sucks. I'm just going to tell you, the process sucks. But the results are worth it. And I hope that as I continue to make these videos, that you can see the results, and you can see that the process is worth it, and that you will be willing to go through whatever process you need to go through to find God in your life, to find gratitude in your life, to find the help and healing that you need, because it's there, and it's out there, and it's available. Just have to be willing to reach out and find it, and find someone that's willing to help and to listen, because there are people that are out there that are willing to help and to listen. And I am grateful that I can make this video and to share that, and I hope that it's reaching someone that can help. And if you know someone that this can help, please share this with them. And if you like it, you can like, subscribe, whatever it is you want to do. And I hope that you are turning to God with whatever it is that you're going through. And I hope that you have a day full of gratitude.